I'm in the city of Ito and I'm cooking in a very special place. This is a guest house that's been around for over 100 years. In Japan, a guest house is called a ryokan, and this one has now been turned into a hostel. So many young people come here to enjoy the onsen and the local culture and tradition. Now I'm going to be cooking something that's not very traditional. It's a Pana Cotta, which is an Italian custard, and I'm going to be using some matcha powder. Now matcha powder is ground green tea, and it's got a beautiful herby flavour to it. You can get this everywhere here, usually served in a tea, in a warm tea, but I'm going to use this to flavour it so we've got a tea-like custard. Now before I add the tea, we need to warm up some milk and some cream. 400 millilitres of cream into a pot. And I'll use the same measuring jug to measure out 400 millilitres of milk. And Pana Cotta in Italian just means cooked cream. So we're going to set this cooked cream with gelatin. And now I'll place this on the heat. You don't want this to be too hot, so I'm going to turn it on to a medium heat. And then to this, I'll dissolve 150 grams of caster sugar. And in this bowl is just some water, so I'll dissolve some gelatin. This is titanium gelatin, so 2 leaves of gelatin to 800 millilitres of liquid is fantastic. But before you put this into the hot liquid, it does need to dissolve, so cold water, and place 1 leaf at a time in the water. If you put them in together, then they'll stick together. So add 1, allow it to soften, and then add the second one. Now this is going to sit here for about 30 seconds to a minute, and I'll add 1 more flavour to the milk, vanilla bean. Vanilla bean gives this a really gorgeous flavour, and it goes so nicely with the matcha tea. So with your fingers, just warm it up a little bit, just so we can get as many seeds out of the pod as possible. And then use a small knife to just cut this down the centre, open it up. Oh, that is the best smell. Scrape it so we remove as many of those seeds. You'll see they'll just gather together. Now that can go into the milk along with the vanilla bean. Now I'll give that a stir just to dissolve the sugar, and we'll wait till that heats up. Now this is almost at boiling point, so what I'll do now is add a ladleful to a bowl, and we need to add the matcha powder now. Now they make matcha tea by steaming young green leaves, then they stem them and then grind it with a stone grinder. Now don't add the matcha powder straight to the milk because you'll get lots of lumps. Add a little bit of the milk just as I've done, then get your whisk and dissolve it. Now I'll add this mixture to the rest of the milk, and then with your wooden spoon give it a mix. Don't boil it again because you'll lose all the wonderful nutrients that is in matcha powder. Okay, this can come off the heat now, and I'll add our gelatin. Give it a good squeeze. All that excess water we don't want to add to the panna cotta. Add it and mix it again and dissolve it. Now, once it's dissolved, it's time to set. So with a ladle, carefully add it, leaving the vanilla bean behind. Leave them to cool, just to room temperature, then place them in the fridge and leave them for about 3 to 4 hours, even better, overnight, so they completely firm up before you serve them. Now my panna cottas are set, so all I need to do is garnish them. I picked these fresh strawberries from a local farm here in Shizuoka. They are probably the sweetest strawberries I've had in a long time. Now I'll add a big handful of these to our panna cottas. I'm adding quite a generous amount of it. I love the colour contrast between that pastel green and the bright red, gorgeous strawberries. And then just to finish it off, a little bit of a crunch from some sesame seeds. These are black sesame seeds. Again, a great colour contrast. And that is a really simple dessert to replicate at home using matcha powder. A fantastic fusion of flavours here. They are delicious. It's creamy, it's not too sweet. The tea, you can really taste in it. You know, usually Pana Cotta, you would do a honey Pana Cotta, a chocolate Pana Cotta. This is taking Pana Cotta to the next level.